All right, I think we can get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Mandy Bankson. I work for SWCA Environmental Consultants, and I'd like to welcome you to the 2022 Triennial Review Public Hearing for the proposed revisions to water quality standards for the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe Water Quality Control Plan. The purpose of this meeting is to gain public input and feedback on the proposed changes to the tribe's water quality control plan. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. We'll start with a brief presentation that summarizes the outcomes of the 2022 Triennial Water Quality Review, after which we'll open up the meeting to public questions and comments. Aaron Bill, Mervyn Wright, and Donna Noel will be representing the tribe during this hearing. Please note we will not be able to address comments or questions until the end of the presentation. However, you may enter any questions or comments you have into that Q&A box at any time during the meeting, and we'll be able to address those after the presentation is over. Alternatively, if you would like to speak, you may raise your hand in the Zoom window. Just use that hand raise icon in the webinar window, or hit *9 to raise your hand if you're joining via phone. Again, that's *9 if you're joining on the phone. Folks will be granted permission to speak in the order their hand was raised. Once it's your turn, you may speak for up to 3 minutes. Note, we would ask that anyone who is asking a question or providing a comment to indicate whether it's a question or a comment. That's going to allow us to record comments or questions accurately in the public record. So just if it's a question, you can either say or type, "This is a question." If it's a comment, say or write, "This is a comment" at the beginning of your comment or statement. So now I'd like to introduce Aaron Bill. Aaron is the Water Quality Program Manager for the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe, and he will provide a presentation on the 2022 Triennial Water Quality Review.
Thank you, Mandy, for the introduction. I would like to welcome everybody to today's public hearing for the proposed revisions of the water quality standards within the Water Quality Control Plan, hosted by the Natural Resources Department here on the Zoom platform. We shall be accepting public testimony following a brief presentation, which is a review of the past 2 public workshops previously aired during this triennial review cycle. Once again, my name's Aaron Bill. I would like to welcome everybody again. I am the Water Quality Program Manager, and I am here today with Susan Morenson and Mandy Bankson from SWCA Consultants, as well as Jim Brock and Ellen Habart from the Desert Research Institute. In addition to SWCA and DRI, we also work with researchers from the University of California, Davis, and we are operating under funding from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, funded by the Clean Water Act, Section 106. Today's agenda is as follows. We are beginning with the reminder that we are still accepting comments from the general public on the proposed revisions to water quality standards within the Water Quality Control Plan. Then we will review the history of Pyramid Lake Paiute tribal efforts to manage water quality within its borders. We will then briefly review water quality standards and the triennial review process. And finally, we'll review the proposed changes to the Water Quality Control Plan. Then we will take comments and questions from the public and accept public testimony from stakeholders. Remember that this hearing is being documented for the public record to be included as a package to be sent to the EPA. We are accepting comments from the public regarding these proposed changes to the 2015 Water Quality Control Plan and the triennial review process only. We ask that persons interested in commenting submit theirs by email to plpt.waterquality@swca.com. The public comment period shall remain open until August 4th, 2022 at 12 a.m. Now for a little background on tribal water quality monitoring history. The Truckee River is the largest input into Pyramid Lake, which is a desert terminal lake where water leaves only through evaporation. The lake is home to the threatened Lahan cutthroat trout and the endangered Kiwi suckerfish, which is endemic to Pyramid Lake, found nowhere else in the world. Water quality monitoring activities began under the Pyramid Lake Fisheries Department in 1981 and expanded to lake monitoring program in 1986. In the late 1980s, a study by researchers at the University of California, Davis was commissioned to determine a reasonable and scientifically sound set of water quality standards, similar to the state of Nevada, but also site-specific to Pyramid Lake. Later, the tribe gained authority in May 1990 under Section 106 of the Clean Water Act to develop water quality standards under Section 518 as treatment similar to a state. Later, in 2001, the Tribal Council approved and adopted the Water Quality Control Plan. In 2007, the tribe received treatment as a state authority under Sections 303 and Sections 401 for certification by the EPA Region 9 Administrator. In 2008 and later in 2015, the Tribal Council and the EPA approved revised water quality standards within the updated iterations of the Water Quality Control Plan. Since the start of lake service monitoring, activities grew to 2 programs which monitor several river, stream, spring, and other wetland sites. We monitor water quality on 9 sites along the Lower Truckee River with monthly field monitoring and grab sampling. In addition, continuous water monitoring with our YSI XO3 multi-sensor SONS take readings every 30 minutes at stations at Nixon and Wadsworth. The water quality program also conducts stream and river bioassessments annually. In addition, Pyramid Lake Fisheries conducts monitoring and sampling duties at the lake sites, most specifically stations 93 and 96. We perform nutrient analysis for dissolved reactive phosphorus, total phosphorus, ammonia, and nitrites and nitrates. We also monitor for metals, E. coli, toxic organics, macroinvertebrates assessments, and cyanobacteria monitoring. All of these activities go into our data analysis activities conducted during this triennial review process. Now we'll go over the basics of water quality standards and triennial review process. First, recall the objectives of the Clean Water Act to provide a quality of water to protect and propagate aquatic and wildlife and for recreation. Under the Act, states and tribes determine the uses of a water body to be protected and promulgate water quality criteria to protect those uses, as well as enact anti-degradation policies to protect an already attained high water quality character. Clean Water Act in Section 303 also requires that states and tribes review their water quality standards and hold public hearings to discuss these revisions to their water quality control plans. In this triennial review period, besides the internal generated data sets from the activities described in the above slides, we also consider data from governmental sources outside the tribe, such as local, state, and federal sources. Other sources of technical information include EPA recommended criteria, mainly from the EPA's Model Water Quality Standards template for waters on Indian reservations, which was published in February 2022. We also examined past scientific literature, research studies, as well as previous versions of the Water Quality Control Plan, as well as other documents. Proposed revisions to the Water Quality Control Plan include the water quality criteria, which is found within the aforementioned Model Water Quality Standards templates for waters on Indian reservations, or as we call it, the tribal template. These list EPA approved criteria that have been promulgated since the publication of the previous tribal water quality control plan in 2015. These EPA recommended criteria were incorporated within the control plan with little scientific justification, as they are EPA recommended criteria. Additional changes to the water quality control plan included additions of functions. We included a function for the aluminum criterion, which was based upon conditional inputs such as hardness and dissolved organic carbon. We also included background information on the previous triennial review process in 2015. And we added a section describing the importance of flows to enhance water quality criteria or water quality character for the protection of water quality criteria for the protection of aquatic biota. Additionally, a series of recommended water sample analyses was included within the monitoring section. In the total dissolved portion of the site-specific scientific justification section, we added updates to recommend a coordination with upstream operators to reduce total dissolved solid loading, as well as to encourage research into the effects of total dissolved solids on other water quality parameters. Also added to the site-specific scientific justification section, the phosphorus portion was updated to reflect current understanding of current dynamics within the Truckee River watershed. Additional edits were made to the plan to improve formatting, readability, and the grammar. And finally, we added the existing water quality ordinance to Appendix C as it is referenced within the plan. We will now open the forum to take comments or questions from the audience over the material covered. Remember to limit your questions to the proposed revisions to the water quality control plan and/or the triennial review process. Please raise your hand to be acknowledged and state your name and affiliation if desired. Limit your comments to 3 minutes and please stay on topic. As a reminder, your comment will be recorded and included within a documentation packet to be sent to the EPA. And if you wish to be heard without speaking, you can also submit a comment to the email address seen on your screen below, plptwaterquality@swca.com.
All right, thanks everyone. So now's the time you can start submitting questions or comments, as well as raise your hand. So just a reminder, you can use the Q&A box to enter a question or comment. You can raise your hand using the hand raise icon, or you can hit *9 if you're joining via phone. Once it's your turn, we'll give you the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. And we would request that if you have a question or comment, please state or write in the chat whether it's a question or comment, so we can accurately reflect that in the public record. So with that, we'll open it up. And just a reminder, if folks have any questions about how the triennial review analysis was completed this year, we do have technical experts on the panel today who can answer those questions. So feel free to speak up or to type those questions in the chat. Okay, folks, we'll give it maybe one more minute in case you need a little time to think. Otherwise, I think here in the next minute or two, we'll conclude the meeting if there are no comments or questions. Okay, just one last chance. If folks have questions or comments, please either raise your hand or put that in the Q&A box. All right, seeing none, I think we can go ahead and conclude the meeting. Aaron?
Thanks, Mandy. This is the conclusion of the public hearing for the proposed revisions to the 2015 Water Quality Control Plan. As a reminder, there is still time to submit your comment to plpt waterquality@swca.com until August 3rd, 2022 at 11:59 minutes and 59 seconds. Once it reaches midnight on August 4th, the comment period will be closed. There is also still time to visit our website, plptwq.org/training review. There you can review the introductory and technical public workshops that were previously aired, and you could find a link to the actual water quality control plan, which is in redline form, so you can see all the proposed revisions to the plan. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day. Goodbye.